I would like to formally welcome you to this S3 community case study. It's usually Lily who's hosting these things, but Dmitry is a good friend of mine, as of Lily too, and we decided that for this call I would host instead. So I'm very happy to welcome you. Some of you might well have attended previous case studies as well. If you haven't, and this is your first, please know that there are some video recordings of previous case studies available in the community as well. So many people speak to us about what they're up to with S3, and yet actually having the time to write about that, blog about that, share about it, and so on can be difficult. And we thought, why not let's create these events where people can come sometimes and just share some of their real life practices and experience applying S3 in organizational contexts, to provide others with opportunities to learn, both about what is possible and also perhaps sometimes about what not to do as well. So here we showcase everything, including the mistakes and the errors too. And today the call is going to focus around a company called Oil Energy. Dmitry, I'll let you introduce yourself in a while, but also I'll introduce you before we hand over to you. But Oil Energy and Dmitry were a customer of Lily's and mine for some time. We first met Dmitry in 2017, 18 maybe, Dmitry, I think something like this in Finland. He came with a couple of his colleagues.
2019.
2019. Okay, 2019. Showed up with a couple of his colleagues to a course that Lily and I were running, and had already been experimenting somewhat with S3 in his organization, and came to learn more. And from there, we saw Dmitry again on the Europe side. Lily and I went to Russia a couple of times. Dmitry has been exceptionally active, not only in bringing S3 into Oil Energy, which you'll hear about later, but more recently as well, making a big effort to bring more consciousness to the idea of distributing responsibilities and authority through systems in ways that better enable people to achieve their greater potential, creating more humane organizational systems. And I just want to name the elephant in the room. I keep this poster behind me in my meeting room of a herd of elephants, because there's often elephants in the room and it's usually useful to acknowledge them. So Dmitry is joining us from Russia. Russia is currently at war with Ukraine. The invasion of Ukraine took place a year or so ago in a course that Lily and I were hosting. There were 7 people from Russia, because S3 has been, prevalent in the sense of in a very small niche, but nonetheless growing interest in S3 in Russia. And for me personally, it's really exciting to be able to just bring some of these perspectives into a culture like Russia and other places around the world as well. And I know that for Dmitry, he's been very passionate about bringing more consciousness into organizations and exploring that topic of how to create more fair, human, collaborative systems where both people and organization thrive. So I'm really grateful that he can be here today and that we have a chance to be able to connect with you, Dmitry, and others across national boundaries, even though meeting in person is more difficult at this time. So with that said, and before I say anything else, I would love to just hear from, I don't know, 3 or 4 of you at least, just briefly, what motivated you to join the call today? Okay, so we're all busy, we're all full, and for some reason, you chose to take this moment of your short, precious life to be here in this call. And I'd love to know why. What brought you?
Hi, I'm Elena. I'm from Italy, and I'm really passionate about systems theory. I am an executive coach and a business advisor in my country and also abroad. And I have a certification in human systems dynamics. So I'm really, really interested in a real case of Sociocracy 3.0, also because I'm working a lot with entrepreneurs and medium, large entrepreneurial companies. And I think that this model is actually the future for our world.
Thank you, Elena. And others?
Hi, I'm Martin from Germany. I was attracted both to the case study, which I always love to see. So how does evolutionary organizations or new types of organizations works elsewhere? But I was also attracted that the case was about a Russian company. James already mentioned the elephant in the room, and I think we need more contact and more connection with Russia in these days, just to stay in touch. And that's the second reason why I took the time, and I think it's important. Let's stay in touch. It's one word.
Thank you, Martin. Others?
So hi from Switzerland. My name is Beat. It's spelled beat, but I'm not beating. It's B-E-A-T. I'm a learner from other experiences. I'm a learner from observation. This is a great opportunity for me to learn from practice and not by the books.
Thank you, Beat. And maybe let's hear one more.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Renaud from Belgium, and out of what has been said before from the three others, it's, I will say, the title, Traditional Hierarchy to Radical Self-Management. And that's really, well, I think that we are all interested in that. It is a radical self-management, yes.
Great, thank you, Renaud. And for those others of you who didn't share, do have in mind your intentions for this call, and I wish very much that they are fulfilled somehow. So, as a way to hand over then, and perhaps first for those of you less familiar with S3, people understandably, when they come across S3 for the first time, or even after some time, presume somehow that there's a particular way of doing things, that S3 is something that you do. And those of you with more experience of S3 are already going to understand that S3 is not a framework or a particular methodology in itself. It's intended very much as a menu of options. Many of those options are compatible with one another, and arguably several might make sense in most organizational contexts. But nonetheless, the purpose is pulling in patterns according to areas of need where your current approach fails to bring about the results you expect or wish to see. And so I'd really invite you to have that in mind as Dmitry shares with us his story today, to not look at this as the way to do things, but rather to look at it as a way that the members of Oil Energy have found to bring in various patterns from S3 to complement and enrich the myriad of ways in which they were already working. You know, in some cases to change them, but in others to enrich them or improve them too. So S3 is a means to an end, and the end in itself is just improving collaboration, improving people's capacity to make the best use of their limited time, energy, and resources. And there are many, many ways to bring in patterns to be able to respond to areas of need that you might face. The other thing I want to say is that I personally have been involved in this work for about 20 years now. And prior to that, in my ignorance, was quite a traditional manager kind of character, perhaps not even the nicest of people to have as a manager. I think a lot of that behavior was learned, actually, would take quite an authoritative position and an element of command and control. And so for me, the journey of exploring other ways of organizing and working together has been a long one, with some roots myself in a more kind of habitual, traditional perspective on things. And I think for Dmitry, there's probably some overlap there as well in terms of where he's coming from too. And I would like to also point out like the enormous value that I've brought with me from my experiences in more traditional ways of organizing. And I really think that here it's important to acknowledge it's not an either or issue, it's a both and. And I'm deeply interested in how we can bring forward the positive essence of the ways of organizing, working together that those who came before us have learned, to bring the wisdom of our ancestors into the now. And at the same time, in moments when those approaches are inadequate to meet the demands that we face, that we can have that openness to explore and learn and discover new ways of working too. So I don't think it's always about radical decentralization, radical self-organization. It's about how can we make the best with everything that we know. And in the cases where we don't, how can we optimize our potential for learning so that we can synergize the wealth of wisdom available to us among different people's examples and experiences in the world to do the very best we can with what we have and to address the complexity of issues that we face. So with that said, we are going to, in a moment, hand over to Dmitry. Dmitry is going to present to us his story in whichever way he chooses. And then later on in the call, we're going to make sure that there's time for reflections and questions. There'll be a chance for you to ask questions of Dmitry and or share your reflections about what's come up for you from hearing Dmitry's presentation. And we will wrap up the call in about 1 hour and 15 minutes from now. So, Dmitry, welcome, my good friend. So glad you could be here. Thank you for taking the time. And I'm going to hand over to you.
Yeah, hello, everybody. So thank you, James, for inviting me. I will start that I'm really, really worried right now and a little bit nervous because I do not speak English often. And so the last time we spoke a lot of English, it was with James in 2020. So almost 3 years ago when we saw each other in, offline. And so please do not be really strict. And because I don't have a lot of practice in English, but still I'll try tell you my story. I always start my presentation with a calling to people, be the change, because all the changes comes to the earth through the people. And if we want some changes became in the world, we should bring them. And I always ask people, so try and be the changes you want to come to the world. And when we speak about Oil Energy, the company which I founded, we always start with our evolutionary purpose and our values. So, and our evolutionary purpose is all the words wells are built and operated with extreme care using materials that meet the high standards of quality and safety. And we have a driver of the company, and it was a really interesting find out that if you write a driver, so the last one sentence in the driver, it will be evolutionary purpose, and the third one will be the mission of the company, because the mission, what you do, and the evolutionary goal is what you expect to become. And so the one it's one of the patterns of S3. So, values are really important in our company, because this is not the only words which we have on the wall, but we have, it's called the living code. So employees of our companies, we spent 1 year to make this living code. So each value is written down through the real things, how we do, how we communicate, how we operate. So, and what we do not do. And this living code, every employee, when he pass his, when he pass first 3 months, we have some initiation procedure, and each member, he online, he or she, they saying why they accept this living code and why they want to work with others with these values. And this helps us a lot, because even in the stage of interview, we're sending to a person this living code, and if a person don't like these values, so they just do not come to our organization. But most of people value this too. And I want to show you a small movie. It was filmed 1 year after we started our transformation process from the hierarchy to the horizontal structure. And this movie was first big project which was made without I would say, any support from me. So it was the first project about our company, which was made by employees. So, and this is how they saw what happened after 1 year in the transformation.
This is the office of the oil energy company. In 2018, we began to move to self-governance. Do you think we've got chaos and panics? This is the end, isn't it?
На самом деле нет. Oil Energy – это первая производственная компания, принадлежащая сама себе и развивающаяся на принципах социальной технологии Sociocracy 3.0.
Здесь нет начальников. Все, что мы делаем для клиента. Мы ценим ответственность,
порядочность, доверие, постоянное развитие, единство.
Здесь важен каждый. Мы одна команда.
Каждый в нашей компании важен и остается частью ее.
Никаких секретов. Все прозрачно. Каждый влияет на рост компании. У каждого свой круг ответственности.
Our company operates since 2010. We have 4 locations in Russia and employees in some cities. Starting from 2018, our company began to work based on the principles and patterns of the social technology Sociocracy 3.0. We help to change the oil and gas industry for the better by inventing and implementing useful solutions for the conscious field development with care for the future of our planet. We produce only useful solutions for oil and gas well solutions, additives and materials for drilling fluids, well cementing, fracturing fluids, and dissolvable materials and products for well completion. Our company goes beyond the oil and gas industry, creating new projects for future develop our ecosystem.
So most of the information was in the movie about the company. So what I should add, so we have really separated the team for different cities. So most of the people who works now in the company, they work in Berezovsky. This is near Yekaterinburg. So this is the middle of the Russia. And we have a lot of people in Kazan and Moscow and a lot of people in different cities so who works alone. We started our transformation. We got 20 million euros. So the rate of ruble is changes to euro. So a lot, but so it's for the current rate. So this is like so 20 million euros. So we are a medium size, how it's called in Russia. So we got small business, medium business, and big business. So we're let's say in the starting of the medium business in Russia. And we started our the changes in the companies to self-governance. They started in the March in the March or April 2018. So this is already almost 5 years how we made our first exact steps to the self-governance. And so now we go back. When I started the company, it was 12 and a half years ago. I was 27 years old. Now I'm 40, and I have 3 drivers. At that moment, of course, I didn't know what is a driver, but I'd say we know about drivers and or don't know about them, but we usually have them for everything we do. We have some kind of driver, and they were, so first one of them was buy a good flat in Moscow, and I'd say it's not a cheap thing. And I was born in Moscow, but I don't have my flat, and so I have an idea that I need to start a business to have some money for buying a flat. And the second one was do better than others in the industry. So I want to make some kind of a name. I saw how the people do, and I understand that I can make something better to the industry. And the third one, but not the last one, was saying this: so create a place of work where people like me could be happy and could stay. Because at that moment I already have an experience working in a very large Russian company, in international oil and gas companies like Halliburton, maybe someone of common with it, and small Russian companies. And I saw how, and I always quit the company by myself, and because I couldn't find the real good place where I can, let's say, open my potential and do everything what I can to do. So here's the little story of the company in numbers. So this is our revenue in rubles, in million rubles, and the number of employees. Or we have some with numbers. So this is with 35 employees. This is 2016, and the next is 2017. So, and I would say when our business began to grow a lot, starting from 2014, and when I have some plans to 2017, and my plans was to make a turnover of 2 billion rubles. So, and at that moment, I didn't already thought about to create a good place for the people to open their potential. I was thinking about the money and getting the money. I was thinking about the results, because I would say it's lots of people still thinks about how to make their company more greater, how to get more money. But I love a universe. It had its own plans for me, and we finished 2017 like this. So we grow by the people against twice, and we even a little bit decline in our revenue. And to the end of 2017, I found out myself in a big depression, because I already bought 2 flats in Moscow. So I made the first thing, by my drivers, and I also had a name in the industry. So I made the second one, but by the third one, I was out, because I didn't made a good place even for me, because I was unhappy being a general manager and say other people what to do, and they asking. So the more I say what to do, the more I ask what to do, and I was really upset of that. And I also remembered how it was at the start before 2015. So when we was a small team, and how much drive and energy were there, and how we can create without any hierarchy. For example, for the first 7 people, 5 of us were directors, and 2 of the other leaders. So it just was almost no hierarchy. And then I started, when I started already learning about how this works, maybe someone of you common with spiral dynamics or the integral method of Ken Wilber, but for the organization, I really like to use the model of Bernard Leeuwenhoek. So he lived in Netherlands, he made a 4 phases of development of the organization. The first one, it's called the pioneer phase. when in the center of the organization stands pioneer or two pioneers, which got some idea, some connection with the client, with the idea, with the market, and other people, I would say, in this circle near these pioneers. And when the company grows, it's became the differentiation phase, or when, how to say, the pioneers go to the up. And we have already a lot of different departments, for example, accountant and sales and procurement and all other things, and they are not connected to each other. And this is, how to say, if here we have in pioneer phase, we have a lot of fire, and here is a really already cold organization where we have some instructions and what things which we should to do, and there is almost nobody who thinks for the whole, because people think exact for their departments, for their KPIs, for their goals at their departments. And as I said, so because I had a plan to have a 2 billion for 2017, and at the end of the pioneering phase, so I understood that we need to change management, and I started to make a classical hierarchy. So if before it was only, say, 2-level hierarchy, so it was me, like a founder of the company, and all other people who was supported me to go to the goals. So starting for 2016, we became to build a hierarchy, and I was asking some people coming from the outside of the company and put them like managers to the people with whom I started this company and worked for these years, because I thought with the new people, more experience, we will reach our goals more likely. So, and yeah, in 2017, I understood that the financial goals, which I had already done, and I also opened a Forbes list of the 100 Russian more wealthy people, and I was looking to their faces one day, and I understood that I didn't see any happy face. And I think, okay, they got helicopters, islands, yachts, and all this stuff, but they're not happy. So maybe I choose the wrong way. I start to look how I want, and I also, I would say, I also was tired from the oil and gas business, because I would say this is a business where people usually come to make money. So this is a business which do not have a lot of sense for me. Yeah, I understand that this is really important, but I would say for me at that moment, I understand that this is not a lot of sense, because nobody is waking up and say, hey, we will get more oil for today. It's not work like this. I was thinking that I need to go out and what options we have. So first idea was to sell the company. But how can I sell the company with which I spent time more than with my 3 kids at that moment, because I was spending all my time and energy to the business. Okay, so to find some cool manager which will be better than me, and but I already have took some managers from the market, and I have a lot of conflicts, and they're fighting for my attention, for the budgets, and for all this stuff. And I assume this is like utopia, so it couldn't be. And then I realized that there is some other ways. So, and this is already 2019, and here I'm really, really happy, and I'm standing with 2 my friends and teachers. So the guy left of me, I think all of you know, is good. And from me, this is Armin Steurnagel. It's a young German man. He's the founder of the Purpose Economy, of Purpose Foundation. So there will be a link at the end of the presentation, so you can investigate what is it. And what is saying Armin? Armin saying that every company have a purpose, and the purpose is not a profit. So the profit only helps to reach a goal, a purpose which have a company. So the ownership is entrepreneurship. So the current system allows you to own the company, but not to work there. And Armin say, if you own, so the will of the company should be in the hands of the people who works in this company. So the main things that I will send to James the link for the Armin TEDx speech which was in Zurich, I think in 2018. So it will be interesting, I think, for you who are not common with steward ownership companies to know a little bit more about this. And I saw this Armin speech on TEDx, and it was, I think, March of 2018, and I was crying for 30 minutes because I understood what he's saying. For me, this is the truth. This maybe not for everybody, but at least for me, that the company should belong to the people who works there. So not the exact people, but if I work in the company, I can manage it. And if I do not work in the company, so I shouldn't have such rights. And I would say it really was a good thing that the company belongs to itself and the people. But I was trying to fit it to our organization, and so that if I just give this organization to itself, like Armin is saying, the company will die because the managers can't work together. They need someone ahead like me, and then coming to me and say, you are right, you are wrong, do this or do that. And this is a Sociocracy 3 help, because just in the same month I knew about S3. And we said, hey, S3 like an option how the company could be real belongs to everybody who works there. So to make people make decisions without anyone who have the authority, the right to do it for everybody. So, and now I will tell you a little about our new structure and the way to the structure. This is our structure at the spring of 2018. So the classical one, it's Russian letters, but I think everybody understands what is shown here. And if you can see, we even had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of hierarchy for one branch. So it was, let's say, hierarchical system. And in the autumn of 2000, so in the spring of 2018, we had a corporate meeting with the whole company, and I tell that the company will belong to itself, that I will take only 10%. And 90% I will give like a gift to the company, and that will go to the social. So we will make a self-governance based on Sociocracy 3.0 principles and patterns. And everybody was laughing, but several months passed and nothing changed. And I made some radical thing. So in the autumn, in October, I say, hey, there is no hierarchy in the company at all. So we go to one layer at the hierarchy of hierarchy in one moment. So what we have done, all of these like branches, like this is commercial department, financial department, procurement department, and blah, blah, blah. We just make this in the circles. And this is how this happened. So some of the circles were like CEO. It was only consisting from only one person of me, and the production manufacturing, there was about 30 or more people. Okay, so we have circles. There is no how to say, bosses. Everybody is equal, but how to say, we need still to make some decisions which affected all the company. And we decide that each circle will choose a representative person who will represent at the legislative branch of power. So, and we like it's a company, at that moment, it's called not a company representative council, it's a circle representative council, it's called. And everything was fine for, I would say, for some time. We learned how to make laws, how to use consent in our understanding. But before we meet James, it was more consensus, because we didn't understand what is like consent works, and it's taken a lot of time for most of the people, as I see, to understand how the really consent works and what wisdom it's got inside. And but still, it was a consensus. But we have with it works for us for some time. And but we also understand in time that there is, how to say, no. So we have the laws. So, but we do not have people who is thinking about the strategy. We don't have people who thinking about the investments. We don't have people who can give some, I would say, feedback. And we got some executive circle, and the people was, I would say, elected there too. And the election was by the Socratic election method. We have five people there. And I'd say it was good for a time too. We have some in there. We have some strategy. We had some investment plan. But we met with we have some people in the company who was using this. I'd say these times where we do not have authority in when we do not have a real power. They start using this time for their own things. For example, we have some thieves in the company. We had some real toxic people, and nobody can make with them something because nobody had the power. So by the theory, everybody can raise a question to quit everybody, and everybody can raise any question. But the practice side, nobody do this because nobody want real problems which can happen. And I remember how this happens in the Wild West, when the people of the small cities or small town, they were elected a sheriff and give him a star and say, hey, now you have a right, how to say, to work for us. And we described a domain of the immune system, and it is, how to say, like our court, like a judgment system in our company. And the immune system, this is the only branch, the only people there who can make a decision of quieting a person in one day. They have some real risk which they see. They have used it only for 2 times at the beginning when we started, when we had some thief and the other situation. And the whole company changed a lot. So now I would say, now we have more cross-functional teams. So so most of the team now in the company, they are cross-functional. So and it gives much more opportunity, much more, I would say, much more goal, much more results than when the people thinks only about the sales or production or procurement. So now every team, for example, it's already a little bit, I would say, old structure on this picture. So because, for example, cementing and production circles, they're now together, and they, I would say, they have the same thing. And this looks like I don't know how to do English. It looks like a live system, and it's really alive because all these circles, all these domains, they do not need any permission to change it. So the strategic circle, they are responsible only for the domains. We call them the domains of first level. And for example, if the new domain of first level want to become, they need to get a consent from strategic circle. But all changes inside this, they became by themselves. And if, for example, these 3 circles want to make a service circle for them, they do not need a consent from strategic circle too, because I'll say they will pay by themselves for it. So this is really autonomic, and but it's changed day-to-day system. Okay, some results of our self-management in numbers. So in 2017, at the end, as you remember, it was a crisis. We have some numbers. We have a wage fund, a number of employees, net profit, and revenue. And 2018, so most of the year we was in the classical hierarchy, and the real changes became in the October. And in 2018, first life of the company, we got minus for net profit. But the still funny thing that we had not really increase in sales, but in sales, but we have increase in employees. And this is the funny thing that the bureaucracy, it works like the more people you have, so the more people you have, the more power you have. So usually managers want to have some more people after them to be more wealthy. I don't know how it was one book where the Great Britain admiral, he was learning the British fleet for 30 years. And so the main thing was that for 30 years, they increased the number of people by 5 times, but decrease in the fighting strength of the fleet for 3 times. So this is like how bureaucracy works. He showed this in it. I don't remember the name of the work, but I remember the results. So from 2019, we starting, I would say the total self-management. We open all our salaries at the December of 2018. So, and we open all information to all employees. And also starting from 2019, we starting split 20% from the profit between employees. And this is results which we get. So wage fund goes really down. We had increase in sales. This is not belongs to our self-governance because it was, how to say, a huge tender which we won for one company. So this is, how to say, not. But the funny thing that we need less employees for making more products, and the net profit goes just like in sky after this minus. Why we have such decrease in wage fund? So first of all, that when we open everything, when we open salaries, so the people who get more money than he understood that he brings the value to the company, they started leaving the company. And we have a lot of people in 2019 left the company who, by their understanding by the understanding of colleagues, who get much more money than he bring the value to the company. Because, when you hire people, for example, you hire a person and you discuss the salary of 3,000 euro, and then a couple of years passed and the market changed, and you have someone new and you discuss with him already 4,000, but the old one make bigger job. But how to say, in a lot of companies, this still works, and this brings a lot of tension. And when you open this tension, they are open too, and it takes time, so it's became stable again. So 2020, we got another real increase in profit. So you can see no increase in people, still decrease in wage fund, because 20% of profit which we were dividing between employees, it's not a wage fund because it's come only from the profit. So wage fund you should to pay in any case, and 20% of profit only if there is a profit in the company. So the people understand that they are the real owners, that nobody will come to them and say what they need to do. And that if they save 100 euro, 20 euro go to their pocket. And they start to refuse from all not needed equipment. They started to work with, let's say, the products which were stuck on the warehouse and all these things. So next year we have another girl, and so the funniest one is the last year, 2022. So we got 57% increase in net profit with not really big increase in sales. We have an increase because we have more people. We have increase in wage fund. But the funny thing is that our increase in sales is 8%. and our increase in net profit for the year, 57%. So could any imagine that we can write down such KPI for the company, that we can make such plans to increase sales 8% and increase net profit 57%? So for me, this is impossible numbers. And because I'm out of the company, I'm just looking for this and trying to understand how this really works. I have my idea how it works, but still for me, it's like some kind of miracle. So for the, we have 70% increase in sales starting from the traditional hierarchy year. So 2017 was the full traditional hierarchy year, and almost 500% increase in profit. And this is not the real what they're going on in the market, because our competitors. I don't think that now we don't say that this is competitors, but to understand. So the companies which do the common products, the same thing, so they do not have such results. So if they have some growth in sales, nobody have such growth in net profit. And this comes because the people have stopping do the products which you don't like. They do the products which they believe in. They're working on the cost, because everybody understands that this is their business. This is not my business. They're not working for me. They are working for themselves. Okay. And this was the differentiation phase. And starting from 2019, as I said, this is phase of integration. Then the people from this hierarchy system, they already come to some circles, but in the center of the circle, already not the pioneer, but the client for whom they are making these products. So they understood that they are working not for the boss, not for the manager, they are working for the clients. Yes, some results of our self-management. So for me, the most important one that I've done what I wanted. I left the company, and already 1 year out of the company. And this was my goal when I started it. And the people in the company, I really became happier and became more matured. And this is really important thing when you work with our other matured people, then not the adult kids, but the real matured people. And the company became more than me. Usually when we speak about some companies, for example, we say Tesla, we think about Elon Musk, we say Microsoft, we think about Bill Gates and all this stuff. And because and now company is bigger than me, and I do not understand lots of process which goes there, but what they do and how they are brave and how they think. So this is really make me really excited. Like looking for the adult child, which already makes something great, and this makes me happy. And some troubles which left overboard. So most of them connected to the owner of the company, to the people who have the real power of the company. So everything is not everything, but most of the things at the start. This is where we can have a bottleneck, and also we need to understand the culture of the company. Culture of the people, so where the people are, meet the people like they at the moment, to find the ways not to be in a hurry with the changes, but still to make these changes. And also I haven't said that we accept Sociocracy 3.0. We invest a lot of time and money in it's courses they call horizontal leadership. So it's the original program belongs to IMO Institute, the Institute of Human and Organization Development. It was founded in Netherlands too, and we adopted this program to self-governance. So this program is to make more flat system, and we invest a lot of money for people to develop themselves, so to understand about their desires, how they can communicate with others. So the personal trainings at the work. Okay, I think so. That's all for this short story, and I will be glad to answer your questions. Thank you very much, and be the change.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dmitry, for that. Much appreciated. I see some hands of appreciation there as well. Okay, folks. So we are going to make the most of the rest of our time for reflections and questions. There was already a couple of questions came up in the chat, so maybe we could take those first, and then we'll open up to others if something's alive for you, either just to share around what's coming up for you in response to hearing Dima's story and or specific questions for Dima. Then let's take those as well. But first up, Dennis, you were asking whether it was their solution to leave the company. You mean for Dima to leave the company, right? So Dmitry, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, for me, this was a solution to leave the company, but for most of the people, this is usually a solution to go out from the routine work, to go out from the management and to have more time for creation for new projects. So this is what I would say I have done, because I left the oil energy, but now I'm spend a lot of time for charity work, because we spend 10% of our profit for charity. It's not charity, we call this let me translate to English. We call this sustainable social investments. So we help a lot to Waldorf school, Montessori school, and the people who works with special people. So for humanistic organization, and also I'm a part of the project. It's called the Healthy Sense. So in English, it's a common sense. In Russia, this is Healthy Sense. And we help other companies to grow their self-governance. So to become more free and more happy.
Great. Thank you. Does that answer your question well enough, Dennis?
Not accurately. I mean, when you open salaries, you said that some people leave your company, and I'm interested if it was their decision, or maybe you have to do this.
Yeah, so I'll say I have another slide. If you're interested in it, I can show it. I didn't show it, but okay, I think I will show it. Just a second. The dynamic of the employee lays off. So till 2017, all the people who left the company, I was asking them to leave the company. So nobody left by their will. In 2017, when we start building hierarchy, 2% left the company by their own will. They say, we want to work in the more family company, not such big. We don't like hierarchy. In 2018, we were building hierarchy almost and this is not for the whole year. This is from 1st of October to the 1st of October. For example, if 2018, this is from the 1st of October 2017 to the 1st of October 2018. We have our birthday in the 7th of October. So it was presentation first started in 2016. So to the people to understand what is going on. So in 2018, we have such dynamics. So it was a lot of people, and most of the people were fired by the managers or by me, and some people left the company. So it was the process. But 2019, so the first year, because this is from the 1st of October 2018 to 1st of October 19, so the first year in the self-governance, so we can see that it looks like nothing changed, but changed a lot, because only 2% they're asked by the company to leave the company, and 24% left by themselves. And we have the departments leaving the company. You know, it was like everybody was living by themselves. They do not believed in the system. They were afraid of the changes. They were, it was like a house. And in 2020, everything already was really good, really okay. And we were really surprised when we saw these numbers because 21% left the company. It looks like that nothing changed, but again, changed a lot because at this year, the half of the people were quit by their colleagues. So it took 1 year for the people to understand that we need to quit people, because this is a really important thing, because sometimes a person couldn't leave the company by himself, but if he is not on his place, he couldn't realize he couldn't, I would say, open and make everything for himself and the people near. And it is a really needed quality to say goodbye when it's not working. And in our company, we have really, it's easy because the circle do not quit the person. He say, we don't want to continue to work with you. And the person leave the circle and he goes to the circle. It's called the circle without roles. And he will be for 2 months in the circle without roles, getting his salary and have an opportunity to find out any other role in the company. And lots of the people already have through this circle have find new roles, and they're really cool at their new roles. And now some people use this circle without roles. It's called circle without roles. Use it for when they want to change something in their lives. They say the circle is happy with their work, but say, hey guys, I'm tired from this. I want something new in my life. So I will go to the circle without roles. And people go to find a new job. For example, a person from finance now works at, we call it the culture and atmosphere circle. So from the finance go there, and some people from one production go to another production, or from the procurement to the sales. So, and let's say it's really good. And 2021, it's changed a lot. And it's only 8 people left the company for the year. 3 of them during the first 3 months of the working in the company, and some other people changed the industry. So 2 of them go to IT industry, and I would say it's and we already have much more people in 2018. And for 2022, it's again interesting. We got 18% left the company. Everybody was surprised. Wow, what's happened? And it's now, if you see to the numbers, you can understand what's going on. But what's going on? The company begins to grow really fast, and more circles begin to hire people. And when you hire people, you're making mistakes. And most of these 18 people, they left during the first 3 months at the company, and only 1 person who worked for 3 years and more from these 18 people. So because when you start doing something, you're usually making a mistake. So the first person I hired for a job, I have to quit it. So they do the same, so they get more knowledge how to do this. And I'm sure then in 1 year past, in 2023, we will see it will be again about 10 persons, 10 people, something like this.
Okay, thank you, Dima. Okay, so let's move on then. So Jonathan was asking Dmitry about investor owner compensation. How are you profiting today from the company? And the other question related to that from Jochen is, how is the stock distributed?
Yeah. So how the company looks now? It was at the slide. So now it's ecosystem. So now we have each this domain. So it's a micro enterprise. So they each domain of first level, they got their own P&L and cash flow and their own account. So they got their own profit. And we call this the co-ownership. So if a person want to start a startup, so he or she they need to invest 10% of the cost of this startup, and they will get 10% for the whole life. So this is like the rule. We do not. So the person can't get for himself not more than 10%. This is how in our ecosystem. So 10% of the profit. And for example, in this circle, I have 9.5%. 9.5%. And this circle, I have 6.5%. In this circle, I have 0 because they opened after me, so there is no my investment. So I have different percentage from the profit of the different micro enterprise. So, but still, because let's say, but still, it's about to take the total, it's about 9%. So of the company profit goes to me.
Okay, and a related one then, which maybe you can or can't answer, but it says, how did you determine, but maybe how was it determined, the value that each person brought to determine the salaries?
So the circles do this. So because I would say the people who works together for the daily basis, they really understood better who brings the value. So this is the main thing, that they do not have circles more than 9 people. So, and 9, it's already too much. So what James was telling us on his program, that the best is the 5 plus minus 2. So, and I was arguing there is statistics, 12 is okay. I'm saying the same thing, that the best one is 5 plus minus 2, depends on the how people. So then you have such small community, you really understand, you communicate for every day, you really understand better. Well, and also we have, I'd say, because they discuss their salaries and they discuss, we call this dividends. So because they share their profit between themselves. So they got some profit and they decide how much they share, and they decide who will get how much. And from the first time when they started, it was really not easy. For example, the workers in Russia. So this is, how to say, this is simple. How to say, this is people with some simple thoughts and desires, and they seated and they, okay, guys, you are 5 person. You have, for example, 5,000 euros. You need to split them. And there is a facilitator, and someone say, "Hey, let's split them equal. Everybody will get 1,000 euro because we are all the guys from the Berezovsky." And okay, yeah, let's split them 1,000 for each person. And then they split, and some of the guys are really upset. And our colleagues from Culture and Atmosphere Circle, they come and hey, why are you upset? I'm upset because I work harder. I work more than other guys, but I get the same. But why you didn't say about this on the circle? Because I was shy. Okay, next quarter you will again split, and you can say if you want. And next time they again decide to split equal to everybody, and someone, hey, I'm not agree. I was working harder. Yeah, really. So this is step by step, they began to understand how they can say about their needs, how they can say about what they think. And it was times when, for example, some person gets 0, nothing, and other get money, but he didn't quit. He understood what to do better, and next time he get money. So this is evolutionary way. So when you will start, it always will be a mess. But step by step, people understood that this is, how to say, not the end of their life. Okay, if I didn't get some money this quarter, I understand what I need to do. I have a coach with whom I can speak about my boundaries. And next time I will say about this, and I will go. So we have nobody left the company because of the dividing dividends or salaries in the circles. So because they understand that this is the people with whom they are working together, it was a lot of people upset or demotivated about some decision, but nobody left the company because of this.
Thank you, Dima. Just a couple of comments from the chat that won't get picked up if I don't say them. So one of them was just thanking you very much for taking the time. And the other from Renaud, a great story indeed. As a coach, I'm humbled by such a great transformation and success. So thanks for sharing your thoughts around that. We have some more questions, Dima, but I wanted to squeeze one in here that kind of relates a little bit to a couple of things you recently said. So the teams have responsibility for their own P&L, which is highly motivating It helps to energize and maintain that entrepreneurial spirit, the wish to innovate, the wish to think more carefully about resources and how they're used, and so on and so forth. I'm curious if you could say something about how you handle the wider domains of the organization, like the service platforms that provide those kind of internal services that are necessary. You mentioned like finance, for example, but maybe there's R&D and legal and whatever else. And, some of those other domains too, like at the strategic level and so on. What motivates people to spend time in those, and or if people are employed directly into those, take roles in those, how is that financed if the P&L is handled at the operational end of the system?
Yeah, thank you very much. So this is a really cool question. This is one of the things we're working right now. Because it's really not easy. I will again go to our structure. So the main thing that we with the people who works in the company representative council, in strategic circle or immune system, they didn't get any money for this. So our money spent on the management of the company is 2,000 euro. This is the salary of the role general manager, because we have, by the law, we have to have a role of general manager, and it have some, responsible to the government, to the James, help me.
What is it you need, Dmitry?
Yeah, so the general manager, it's got more responsibility to the
authorities, legal system, legal.
Yeah. So if something bad happened, so he can go to jail. And other employees know. So the only difference from the other employees have the general manager. So he have a veto right for the decision which can make him go to the jail, but never for 4 years it was used. But he have a veto right, and he have additional money because he have an additional risk. So this is the only cost of the management of our company, 2,000 euro. But why we have still people working there and not getting money? For example, as I say, for example, if in your countries somebody offer you that you can go to the you can go and have the power to change something in the country, but you wouldn't pay for this. Do you agree? For example, for me, yes. If I really have an ability to change something in how the country works, I will go there without any payment because I'm interested in. And we have such people who are interested in develop the company because they love it. Because if they don't come, for example, like when you became adult and you live without your parents in the flat, and if you don't wash your clothes, nobody will wash it. If you don't wash, the glass, nobody will wash it. So this is, they understood that if they don't go there, nothing will happen. And we were discussing a lot of time. Should we pay to the people in these branches of power? And we decide no. The only privilege having, because the strategic circle, they getting money from the taxes, because we have a differentiation tax system, and each circle pay taxes to the strategic circle, depends on how much profit they got. And if the person from the circle goes to strategic circle, they pay 1% less taxes. So this is the only thing what they got for the being there. If this circle is really big, so this is big money. Okay, and what's about the motivation of the service circles like financial, HR, IT, and all this stuff James told. So at the moment, they have their own P&L and account and cash flow too. So the strategic circle, they ordered to them some basic services. and they pay for this. And also they have smart contracts with these circles. For example, culture and climate. For example, Healthy Sense, Macro Enterprise want to have a strategic session, and they go to culture and climate and they goes, hey guys, we want a strategic session. Can you prepare this for us and be facilitator? Okay, so they discuss the price and they pay to them. So they have some payments from the strategic circle and some payments from the other circles who want some services from them. And also they have the right to make some services out of the company. And some of the circles do this. Did I answer your question?
Sorry, no, we could listen for you for hours, I believe. But yes,
Definitely.
You answered.
Definitely book a date with Dima if he's got the time. And there was a related question which might have been answered to Sue. You asked, how is the culture circle financially sustained? And so, Dima, is that covered in what you've said already?
Yeah, I want to tell you about a little bit more about this because today we had a meeting and I was 3 weeks out of Russia. And I just come this week, and I joined the meeting to see what's going on, what's they discussing, and what it is interesting because we already have, I'll say, with the service circles, it's always difficult because what we have different options what we can do. So, do we really want everybody in the company to be entrepreneurs? So. I'm not sure that this is really working because if you got an entrepreneur in the culture and climate circle, why they should be only in the company? They will go somewhere to make more business. And this is cool, but still we need someone inside because, for example, if you got a family and if you got a baby and both parents wants to work, but you still need someone to be with baby. You need still someone to make food. You need someone to wash things, and you need to, to split between these. You need someone to help to handle all this. So, still in the service circles, we do not really need to make them entrepreneurs like I see right now. So, we need them to be the people who helps other growing business. If they want to go doing business, they can go doing business. So, but still for us, this is the question. We are looking for the best options, how we can handle this.
Thank you, Dima. And one question from Jonathan, super interesting, the compensation system. Is there a place where it's written down and we can read up on it?
Only on Russian.
In Russian. Is there a place in Russian where we can find it and attempt to translate it?
I think in Russia we can share it.
Is it possible you could share a link?
Yeah, I think I can share. So I can share our all legal rules which we have in the company. So the whole legislative branch what we have done. So yeah, we can share and you can try to translate it. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. We've got about 12 minutes left, and there's a few more questions I've noted down here. So we'll see if we can work through those. One, first of all, from Martin. What are the three most important S3 elements, e.g. patterns for the company, would you say?
Oh, I haven't shown a map with the patterns.
But this fits with a question from Natalie as well, who asked...
Yeah, I just want to...
So Natalie asked, what other secret slides didn't you show us, Dima? So you are, Natalie. Here's one right now.
Yeah, because I asked Ivan Molchanov, and James knows Ivan really good to prepare this slide, and he prepared it and I didn't show it, so I'm ashamed. Just 1 second, I will.
No worries, Dima. We were all super, super grateful for you making the effort to do this.
I can show this slide.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, cool. I will tell that Ivan, he know about Sociocracy a couple of years before me, and he was working with the Sociocracy 2.0. Also the classical one. When he met, when I started with changes in the company with Sociocracy 3.0, he was really interesting about it, and I make him to come to other company. When James was in Berezovsky, James and Lily, they came to our company to Berezovsky, Ekaterinburg, and they had one model, 3 days model there. And then I asked James to come to the Moscow for 2 another trainings, and Ivan was helping us. And then Ivan joined our team, and he was in the domain which calls Bringing Us Free. So we had a special domain for Bringing Us Free. It was 3 of us working there, me, Ivan, and Inna, our colleague who died from the coronavirus 2 years ago. That's why Ivan knows about S3 in the company a lot, because he was it was two steps of bringing us free in the company. The first step where we was trying to make it by like we thinking about this without meeting James, without learning about this, and we still got a lot of experience, but not really good experience. But when I met with James and we go to Finland to the training, and James were telling the other participants why this is important, me and my friends who was with me, we was sitting and we already understood why this is important, because we done different way and got really bad results. The next stage already goes with Ivan, when we already have learned about how it's do correctly and what is really consent and all this stuff. Ivan, do you ready to show? Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is the map with the patterns, and Ivan took the green color for the patterns which we use on the daily basis, the orange one which we use time to time and not so often, and other we almost not use. So what are the most important ones? So for me, this is I think these 3 ones. So active participation, adopt the 7 principles, agree on values. So for me, this is the most important ones. But this is for the whole organization. But if to go to in details, a lot of other interesting things. What is, I think, missing now is we have a lot of our own patterns. So we have developed our own patterns, and we have a much more richer culture than only S3, but S3 is the main part there, but we have a lot of really important other patterns. I think the organizational structure needed to some new patterns to be added, like micro enterprise structure and all these things. And maybe some are missing. But in any case, there is no, there is no bad patterns in S3. So, for example, these 2 pull system for work and limit work in progress, the people just didn't use it at the moment, but they're really important. And they, for example, for IT industry, this is just because we are not in IT, so they don't use it. But in any case, so I think because we was focusing on S3, so I think our company have adopted the more patterns than any other company, because we are really, if we do not know what to do, we open the guide, we open S3 pattern maps, and we are trying what we can pull out to change it. Vanya, спасибо.
And the other question from Dunia. Could you have a situation where some circles get profit share, but as a whole, the company loses?
We had such situation. Yeah, we had such situation, but I don't think that was the whole company loses, but it was one circle with really good profit, and other circles were without this. And I would say at that moment, they divided these dividends and they get this money. But people people, because everything is transparent, they made comments. Hey guys, we think this is not really good. And it was a lot of comments. And next time, because we don't have any other situation next time, but I think they understood that this is not the best what they can do. So, like we are learning not through making them, we not say you can't do this or you can't do this. We say you can do almost everything, but other people will see what you do and will give you a feedback, ecological one, but not say you are bastards or what you're doing. So I think this is really not a good option because blah, 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 blah. And the feedback of the people who are on the same level, it works really, it make much more effect to the person when the boss says something, because the people want, to be good and okay with other people they work every day.
Thank you, Dima. So, folks, we are getting near the time. One thing from Martin, just to make sure people get a salary and a circle-related bonus, or do they fully depend on the profit of their circle? Quick answer on that one, Dima.
So now we have, from this year, we have, refused from the word salary, but people still get money every month, and we call this dividends in advance. So when you take money, you take dividends from the profit, but before you fix the profit. And when you fix the profit, you can get the other sum. For example, it could become that you got a minus, and it's okay because you take more dividends in advance that you got profit. And in this case, strategic circle will help you to cover this minus. If strategic circle believes that you are doing something great and this is just a difficult time. But if you got minus and next quarter again minus and next quarter again minus and don't fix anything, so strategic circle got an option not to finance this circle more, and they will have to live on the money which they get.
Okay, thank you, Dima. So folks, we have 2.5 minutes, and as a way to wrap up, I would love to hear very, very briefly, just a few words, but from a few of you, what you're taking away with you, one key takeaway from the call. And let's hear from as many people as possible in the 2 minutes that remain.
I'm stunned and amazed, can hardly believe it, but tell myself just to stick to the observation and to what I've been told.
Thank you, Martin. Others?
It's a really great example, and thanks to all of you that it's possible. And so I hope it will be spread around the world as a model.
Thank you for making this success of self-management visible in numbers. We need that in the world.
Thank you, Kathy. And who else?
Amazing results. That's really great. Super interesting for me was the whole compensation and ownership part, because I think that's not as explored yet. And that was great to hear that that's working.
Thank you, Jonathan.
I loved the way that you learned about it as you went, and it sounds as if you're still continuing to learn about it. So that there is no template, but there's a set of resources you draw on, and everybody works it out together.
Thank you, Graham.
To me, it was amazing to see how powerful equal stance communication or messages instead of boss to employee communication. Thanks.
And from Advanced, very interesting and inspiring, the top 3 patterns. And we've got time for a couple more.
So I like the dynamics of employee layoffs. That's the elephant in the room that's often not addressed. And I have now a living example. Thanks.
Main takeaway for me was that for every situation, you can design a solution that works for your context.
Yeah, I also want to thank James and Lily and Bernard for developing S3, because S3 really changed my life, and it helps to change a lot of lives in Russia for the better. And this is just amazing how this works. But if you have a real desire to go there, And this is, I know we say a lot of time, James, during the month, and remember yourself. So, and I also really glad that I have an opportunity to speak here, and a lot of people listening to me. And I'm sorry really for my English. I really hope that's something you understand from it. And we are ready to share. And I think if James and Lily will be interested, we can make some story, because I don't like when I speak, because like I'm founder, I like when the people who works in the company, they speak what they have lived. And we have a lot of people who speak English. And if you're interested, maybe we can make a panel with the people who passed the way from the hierarchy, from the management position or from the down position, what they passed and how they lived. I think this is much more interesting than me speaking. So how they really lived in their life.
Let's do it, Dima. I think it will be equally as interesting. And thank you for your English, because without that, we wouldn't have understood a thing. So, see you, everyone. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks.
So, Dima, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thank you for, because if there is no is free, I couldn't tell anything today. So thank you.
Pleasure, mate. Just passing it on. It's all pleasure. See you.
Yeah, bye-bye.